Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 69. It's a Friday. Let's get crazy. My name is John. Andrea. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm intrigued by the let's get crazy. Man, end of the week must be hitting you hard.
No, no, I suppose not. I've got it pretty
Aw,
easy, so yeah.
John, walking it back already. Let's get crazy. I don't
Yeah, well,
know.
I suppose we could have thought of some games or something like that. Like one of those we could have played one of those dirty word games.
Ooh,
Scandalous.
my
Scandalous.
goodness. What are you proposing? I'm shocked.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember, what's that one? Like Taboo or something like that, right? Those kinds of
Yeah,
things.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, where you
I
write
feel like
like
that would
definitions for words and you like make them dirty and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah. Or like you make it just like so crazy that people are just like,
yeah,
I'm going to pick that even though I don't think that's it.
yeah. I have so much trouble with that on certain games,
Mhm.
like, Cards Against Humanity or any of the
Sure.
Jackbox ones, where
Yeah.
it's that going between trying to win and do the right thing, or
Mhm.
just trying to be funniest because it's funny. So,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's a lot harder on something like Jackbox where like you don't always get to like appeal to a certain person, like where like
oh yeah, I
everybody's
suppose.
voting. Where I'm thinking of like Cards Against Humanity or Apples to Apples, you usually get like one person that you're like, okay, I either know that I have to play it straight or like this card is
Right.
perfect for them because that's what they're gonna pick. But, like, Jackbox, that's a
Fiery
whole lot
poops.
harder. Right. Like, trump card, like, you just have that card that, like, everybody's like, "Ah, yeah."
Yep.
But, yeah, a lot harder on Jackbox where you have to appeal to everybody, appeal to the
Yep.
masses.
Well, I wish I could say that, yeah, we've got something real spicy planned for episode 69, but I don't. So if you think of something, you throw it out there. But we will
I've
have
got
fun regardless.
I've got a spicy rim on my margarita, can we count that?
Okay. Yes,
Spicy.
absolutely can count that. I
Alright,
should
I'm
go
bringing the
get
heat, John.
yeah. I have a pre-mixed cocktail thing a little bit left in the fridge that's like a spicy jalapeno kind of
There you
cocktail.
go. There you
So I could
go.
have picked that up quick
Brought
too.
the heat. Yeah.
Yep. Hmm. Well, I'll tie it into spiciness as we go on. I guess I got one idea, anyways.
All right.
Um, Anyways, this is Popcast on the Rocks, as I said, but we're here to talk about pop culture things mostly,
Mhm.
things that we're interested as it concerns the subject, and we're just gonna have kind of a chill, casual night tonight, pretty spoiler free for people,
Mhm.
so don't have to worry about that. But yeah. Anyways, how has your week been?
It's been good. Quite busy. Some of Chris's family came up to visit, so we've been hanging out with them a lot during the week. So I didn't get to do too many kind of pop culture-y things. It was more like family visits and pizza nights and um, kid-friendly activities like Mall of
Hmm.
America and the zoo and um, watching How to Train Your Dragon. So, nothing real super new or relevant. But I did, get to steal a couple moments for myself. I finished season 1 of Ted Lasso, which I'll be talking about later on tonight. Um, and I finished the last episode of season 2 of Never Have I Ever, which if anybody has not checked that show out, absolutely do it. The sophomore season is just as good as the first. I really enjoyed that show. Have you heard of
What
it
is
at all,
that?
John?
No,
Okay.
I don't know what.
Okay, so it's a show from Mindy Kaling and it's a teenage dramedy, I would say. A little bit of
Okay.
slice of life following um a young Indian girl, navigating her way through high school, but also the fact that her father has tragically passed away very suddenly and in kind of like a bit of a traumatizing manner. Um,
Mm,
so she's dealing with that by not dealing with it in
right.
the first season of the show, and so kind of like follows her attempts to just really focus on having a normal high school experience despite her very like overprotective and overbearing Indian mother. She's like trying to have a boyfriend and have all these like high
Mm,
school experiences because she's like life is short, but she doesn't really want to think too hard about the fact that her dad just died. Um and it's really, really well done. The comedic moments are well timed, well executed, and then they're even more, kind of poignant against like the more dramatic moments where, our character kind of has to come to grips with the fact that her dad has died. Um, so yeah.
is there a fair bit of real mini Kaylee in this? Like, does she pull heavily from her life? Do we know? Anything like that?
No. So this is not I think this is not the Mindy project where this was like her life and she
Okay,
just sort of like, made herself a doctor in that instead of like a TV comedian and writer.
sure.
I think elements of like, the side characters and like some of her family are written in the show. Like she's got, like a cousin, some
Mm,
aunties and a grandma that I think, she kind of pulled from her own family. But no, both of Mindy Kaling's parents are alive and well, and I, to my knowledge, she didn't sort of like have that aspect of her
sure.
life on the
Okay.
camera.
Well, if people are interested, where can they watch that? What's that on?
They can watch it on Netflix. I believe it's been ranking either 2 or 3 in the U.S. and the UK, and I think a couple other countries top tens as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, yeah, definitely happy to report. I think the second season is just as strong as the first. Which isn't always the case for shows, especially ones that are kind of um really intensely popular in the moment, and then they get a second season and everybody's like so excited, and then it's a big letdown. But I don't
Sure.
think this one is.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a tiring week. Hanging out with family and jumping around, that's always tiring and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Did also, of course, go to Pokemon Go Fest as we had talked about last week
yes.
with my hubs. Um, so yeah, that was pretty fun. That was also a full day of, going around Stillwater catching little pocket monsters. Um, met of course a lot of people doing the same thing. Like Stillwater's
Mm.
pretty heavily trafficked for Pokemon
You meet
players.
anyone from your kind of group, your sort of
Mhm.
circle or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A bunch of the Woodbury crew headed over there, so we kind of had like a group walking around all day. So that was pretty fun.
Nice.
Got a lot of shinies.
Okay. What was
So
the like specific Pokemon? There was a specific one that
yeah,
was showing
so
up more? Or?
so the one that you get, the like featured Pokemon, oop, is this gal. Let's see if I
Um,
can get her.
is it Rosalie
Nope, it's
or
Meliata. Okay,
Meliata? Okay, I've never.
there we go.
It's in focus like way back there. I've
Yep.
never heard of that
So
Pokemon. Okay,
yep, so it's just like she's like a little singer because the whole theme was about music
sure.
and stuff like that. So she was like the special Pokemon that you only get, if you participate in, um, Pokemon Go Fest and, like, buy your ticket or whatever. But one of my fun shinies that I got while I'm being a nerd and just, like, showing off my Pokemon, this is a little fighting Pokemon,
Okay,
and his name is Sock, and he is
nice.
you can see he's, like, purple here, normally he's, like, a light blue. So this is, like, a rare
Ah,
shiny that I found.
fancy. Pretty high CP if I saw that right too.
Indeed, indeed, he's my new top fighting Pokemon. So,
Oh, awesome.
yeah. So yeah, so it was a very,
Well,
very busy week full of, kind of random eclectic pop culture
yeah,
things amidst family hangouts. So, yeah,
yeah.
it's been fun. How about you?
Yeah, I had some or a fan. Well, no, I've had some family hangouts too. Went to see some of Ashley's family, and that's where like she has a relative that is really into anime and stuff, and I didn't
Hmm.
realize he was also into Korean dramas. And so
Okay.
that's what like made me think, oh, I got to look into some of those again.
Mhm.
Um, because I figured it would help me with my Korean a little bit, possibly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I tried Crash Landing on You, which was pretty good, but long. As I was telling you earlier, I didn't realize there's that many episodes and they're all like between an hour and about 2 hours each.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I mean, I was pretty intrigued because it's about this woman accidentally ending up on the across the border into North Korea.
Mhm.
And I was kind of interested in how Koreans would portray that, how South
Right.
Koreans would what so that is interesting, but I definitely would have to commit if I want to watch this show. So yeah. But anyways, show was pretty good and family reunion was good. And then Ashley had her niece come up as well. And so we just took them to breakfast and kind of
Mm.
visited stuff a little bit. She doesn't see her very much.
Sure.
So, yep, family things. Um, More taekwondo. I can take my brace off.
Hey, how's your
So,
hand feeling?
pretty good. It's not fully healed, so doctor recommended, she said, well, if you're in kind of high risk situations, you know, maybe even just sleeping or whatever, or if you're around a bunch of rowdy kids or something like that, maybe a good idea to wear it, kind of thing. Otherwise, really, they want me to work on regaining mobility. And then once I've got that back, then I can work on strengthening again. Cause like
Sure.
my wrist is it's amazing. It's not that long. My wrist is so thin
Mhm.
from not moving my arm,
Sure.
so,
Sorry,
but
I just had to chuckle a little bit at the, high risk situation of sleeping.
I know, right? You never know.
I know, I
Could,
mean, you could roll over or, like, flop a hand
yeah,
around or, something. I mean, obviously something could happen. It's just funny. Normally,
yeah.
obviously, nobody thinks of sleeping as high risk, but
When you're most vulnerable and
Mm.
a spirit could come attack you, right? That's
Right?
could be, yeah,
You could
never know.
have, like, a, oh, what's that movie? Idle Hands experience, you know? Could have an idle
Oh.
wrist where the devil possesses your wrist.
Yep, yep. Will be foolish for them to do it before it's fully healed. You need that full range of motion if you're gonna do the most damage.
Right?
So,
Do the devil's work.
yeah, yep. So, otherwise, I've been playing some Gwent and watering
Mhm.
trees and still watching My Hero Academia, and Ash and I get in some Go shows, and because we met, I think I told that story a couple weeks ago, so I tell it again, and then and then w- uh, some more UFC fights. So
Mm. Chris was watching that the other day. I watched one that was over fairly quickly.
okay,
Um,
yeah, might have been the same one. There was a guy that he had to tap out pretty quick. He wasn't knocked out or anything like that, but,
yeah, yep.
he was a younger guy and got
Mhm.
stuck in the bad position, and
Yeah, I think
so
we're talking about the same one. I have no idea names and, people, I
yep.
don't watch UFC enough, but yeah.
I'm just getting into it, so,
Mhm.
yeah, but
Yeah, Chris
going
likes to
all in
watch it
kind of.
occasionally.
Yeah. We got, um, what's his name? Conor McGregor's whiskey.
Oh,
Conor
yeah, how's
McGregor
that?
he has an Irish whiskey, and I haven't tried it yet. Probably
Okay.
gonna bring it to the lake, so, um, and have some there.
Sure, nice.
Right.
Yeah, he's, like,
Mhm.
obviously one of the few names I would recognize.
Yep. Yep. My sister said, "Be careful, you'll drink it and turn into a jerk like him."
Start trying to punch
So,
people. "Let's fight!"
well, he's just such a I mean, obviously, it does it to make more people wanna watch him. So whether
Yeah.
you hate him and wanna see him lose or you love his, attitude and wanna see him win, either way, they are getting people to tune in,
Didn't
so
he
he's an asshole.
did wasn't he the one who challenged, like, um, to a boxing
He's a
match?
YouTuber. Yeah, as a YouTuber.
Yeah.
He's
It
he's, it it was an interesting challenge because to my understanding, the YouTuber is not a fighter, but he is
Mhm.
definitely outweight classed Connor.
Mhm.
So he is much taller and heavier,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So if that's what you're talking about. Yes, that's
Mhm.
what happened in that fight occurred, and yeah, Connor definitely won that.
M'kay. Yeah,
So
he seems like the type of guy who would just, like, anybody anywhere. Like, doesn't matter if I, you know, outweigh you or you outweigh me, like, let's just fight. Like, he just
long
seems
as he
like
can,
one of
I
those
suppose, as
guys.
long as he can hype it right, so he
Yeah.
can get
Mhm.
enough people paying that pay per view cost,
Yep.
you know, then so yeah.
Didn't he also get his ass kicked? And excuse my language. I guess there's part of the spicy portion of our evening
Woo!
tonight.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I
where are
said
my pearls?
ass. Woo! Yeah, can
Yeah.
you clutch them, please? Um, didn't he also get like beat really terribly by somebody he challenged?
Well, I don't
Was it
I
Floyd
mean, I don't know, can we
Mayweather?
um,
Right? Wasn't it going to be like this huge thing, and McGregor just got his butt whooped?
maybe. I
You can hold
really
off
honestly
clutching your
wasn't.
pearls. I said butt this time.
Yeah. I really wasn't watching at that point. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
There's an
yeah. So
there's a
I
very
just
recent one that McGregor was in that's a different situation, but I guess I won't I mean, people probably know if they care, but I won't spoil it, I
right.
suppose.
Yeah,
But
I remember this. Yeah, McGregor challenged Mayweather, and it was supposed to be like this huge thing because it was going to be like professional boxing because, like that was yeah, there you go. Alan's got it up. Mayweather, yeah. Mayweather just like whooped on him because McGregor was like, "Oh, I can do boxing. Like that's not hard. Like I do, MMA,
right.
and I'm, so tough." And then Mayweather just like ended it
There
super soon, which like I think pay-per-view was like, "Damn it. Like this was
Mhm.
supposed to be a big thing and you just like, killed it."
Yep. I mean, people seem to, I'm sure McGregor didn't forget. He just, again, for the money, but um people seem to forget, like, these are all different sports. So they all
Right.
have their own different rules,
Right.
and they don't necessarily translate from one thing to another. Like, my
Yeah.
understanding as a newbie was that when UFC started, it was kind of a way to showcase and see, like, which martial art style is the best for
Sure.
combat. Because it was just like, so the mixed version of mixed martial arts was different martial art styles going against each other.
Yeah.
So later, obviously, fighters started learning and taking different parts from
Mhm.
different, disciplines to,
Right.
like, make whatever they think is best.
Right.
So yeah, but boxing is boxing. You don't get to, like,
That's way
check
different.
someone's leg and keep stomping on their feet. And the grappling is such a huge thing in UFC, so it's
Yep.
not a thing in boxing. So, like, boxing is pure stamina. You just
Yes.
need, I don't know. So,
Stamina and defense. I mean, you can't,
hmm
you know, let them get those shots in, but it's a lot different blocking with those gloves than it is, I
hmm
think, trying to like block somebody you can like grab onto their leg if they try to kick you or whatever.
hmm it'd be interesting to see then Mayweather do the fight
Oh,
him, but
yeah,
then
the
in
other way.
UFC style. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure people were clamoring for that, but I'm sure Mayweather was like, "No, no, like he challenged me to my sport,
Yeah,
that's good enough for me.
but isn't um Floyd Mayweather, isn't he also um let's see. I'm just looking up her stats. And he's 5'8", what's 5'8", 151?
Mhm.
Okay, I thought he was heavier.
I did too. That sounds really light for some reason.
So
I guess if he's just, like, pure muscle, I mean, I don't know.
well, I mean, there's all different weight classes, so he's just
Right.
obviously in a and Conor McGregor is 5'9", 155. Okay, so yeah,
Okay,
they
well,
totally
yeah,
are like right in
evenly
there.
yeah, I mean, as far as, like, body type, evenly
Yeah.
matched.
So,
So, could have had a shot, but I'm sure just, like, it was Mayweather's sport.
mhm. Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna have MMA corner each week now or something. So
Yeah, I didn't know
I've
that,
got
like, early UFC was, like, different martial arts styles going against one another. Like, that would have been, I think, really interesting to see rather than this sort of, like, kind of
mhm.
mishmash of fighting styles that,
Well, it obviously
competitors
what
might
it
do
wasn't
now.
working for some, if they wanted to
Yeah,
be in this, like, someone that's has a background in jujitsu and then someone that has a background in taekwondo, like the person, I mean, given equal skill levels, the jujitsu person's gonna win in
right,
this sort of scenario. So if you want to be competitive, you're gonna have to either like, well, I guess, this is my art and my martial art. I just won't compete here.
right.
Um,
Would
but
have been interesting to see, though. Like, I wonder if I can go back and watch some of
yeah,
that.
you probably can. Like I was talking to my, brother-in-law about it. That's what he was saying and stuff. And he's like, we used to be like, you get a sumo wrestler in there basically, and then, someone else that's in karate or whatever. And
Yeah, that'd be
so,
fascinating.
hmm
I bet
but
it I bet it wouldn't always be what you expect.
yeah, there was a really good match we just watched from this last week that I won't give away. I don't know if anyone is watching it will care at all, but I won't give it away in case. There's Marisha Cupcake Tate, I think is her name.
Okay.
So everybody, if you're a UFC fan, you can tell I'm a newbie because she was popular.
Okay.
Um, but she was coming back into the ring after being gone for 5 years. So this was
Wow.
her first match back in. She's 34
Mhm.
and she was fighting a woman that has been around for quite a while, and
Mhm.
she's 44, so 10 years older, but it was
Wow.
going to be her last match. So first match back for the younger one, and last match, and then retirement for the older one. So it's high stakes for both
Yeah.
of them. And
Was it good?
yeah,
I
it was
mean,
good.
I feel like
Yeah,
you
I
can at
want to
least say that
say,
without
yeah,
giving it
I
away.
yeah, I totally recommend watching it. It
Okay.
was fun. It's fun to see. So, yep.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Um, Drinks. I mean, I
Mhm.
mentioned Conor McGregor. I got his whiskey. I'm not drinking it today,
Well, what
but
are you drinking then?
well, per your listed holidays, um, July 24th is Tequila Day.
Tequila.
So I have a sneaking suspicion we might be using the same tequila. I don't know. I am using the Rocks
Yeah,
tequila.
baby.
Yeah, I that's the spice I was bringing. It's like the Rock. He's a spicy man for sure.
He is a spicy
So,
man. I mean,
so
what?
yeah, Teremana small batch
Mhm.
tequila. I got the Blanco one, and it's really good.
Yeah, isn't it?
I I mean, I'm not a tequila. I like tequila a lot, but I'm not a tequila connoisseur. That's for sure.
Mhm.
But it's tasty.
Yeah. Yeah, I've quite enjoyed his tequila.
Have you gotten the like golden one?
The reposado?
Or
Yes. Yep.
yeah.
Chris got me a bottle of each
Okay.
because he's a smart
Nice.
man.
Do you do you have a you can just sit there with your your 2 tequilas and, like, just watching The
Just
Rock's
yeah.
movies, fanning yourself, yeah.
I did, that's actually funny. I just finished I don't know why I hadn't finished it before. I don't know if maybe it got cut off and I just, like, wasn't thinking, but I just finished this weekend, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle,
Oh,
Rock's
um,
remake of Jumanji.
okay, so not the sequel, right? The first
Right, the first
remake?
one.
Okay.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I mean, I had watched it, like, basically all the way through, but there was just, like, a little extra scene at the end that I was like, "Oh, I must have thought, like, the movie was over," because I'd watched it on TV for the first time that I'd watched it, so,
I
yeah,
What'd
so
you think
that's
of
been
it?
playing. I loved it. It's so good. It's
Yeah, I
it's
thought it was
one of
really good
those
too.
it's one of those, like, quote, unquote, "remakes" that isn't trying to remake the original, it's just, like, kind of a similar concept, but new enough that it's interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's playing on nostalgia and it's got some of, like, the elements of, like, being trapped in a game, but it's different enough and new enough, and it's, like, for the present moment that it was well
Right.
done. It was well thought out.
Yeah, I wish I didn't see the next one, though I kinda wish they wouldn't have made another one. It's like you had a
Yeah,
good thing with this one remake, it worked well,
right.
and they gotta try to do it again, you know?
I know, I
And I don't
know.
know. But are
Yeah.
you excited for the, like, Jungle Cruise?
I am, and I
Um,
think I think that's probably why that I've seen, Jumanji all over, TV this week. It's been replaying itself all over the place.
mhm, mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, I am excited for Jungle Cruise. I think it's fun. I love The Rock, obviously, but I also love Emily Blunt. She, like you said, I mean, I've also, loved her since her early work in Devil Wears Prada. I think it's impressive that she stood out against such an amazing cast. Like
Right.
when people remember you from that movie that has Meryl Streep in it and doing like, some of the best work and Stanley Tucci, who I also like just absolutely love. Um and I mean, obviously like Anne Hathaway was really great in that movie. I don't always love her work, but I think she fit that well. I just think, like, when people remember you from a movie like that, like, you've done something special.
Are you bitter about, like, Les Mis for Anne Hathaway, or is that what's your distaste for Anne Hathaway?
Um, I just I'm not always, like, a fan of, like, her chosen movies. Like,
Mm,
I don't always think she, like, quite fits characters. Like, there are absolutely moments where I'm here for her. Um, like, I loved her and Jake Gyllenhaal. Gosh, what is it? I think it's, like, Love and Other Drugs.
okay.
Um, where, like, Jake Gyllenhaal plays, like, a pharmaceutical rep who's, like, selling a drug for one of the diseases that she has or something like that. And I think she's, like, quite underrated, in that movie, like, she's really great. But there are, like, some, like, commercial fare where I'm just not, like, quite a fan of Anne Hathaway, like,
Mm,
felt like she was really out of place in Brokeback Mountain.
okay.
Um, I didn't I go back and forth on her Selena Kyle.
No, yeah, don't go back and forth. There's I mean, I don't know if it's totally her fault. I think
Yeah,
that the way
that's
it was written, I think she was misused, underused, like, is just didn't she didn't need to be there.
yeah,
It was
I'm
so superfluous to the whole thing, it just
right, right. That's kind of my thought as well. Like it's not technically her fault, but it's like
you're
she's
in
like
the
the
role, yeah.
right, exactly. Like you're the face of the role. So unfortunately, like you're gonna catch some of the flack there. So yeah, so
Yep.
I'm back and forth on Anne Hathaway. I mean, I thought she did a great job actually as Fantine in Les Mis. Do I think she deserved an Oscar for it? Back and forth, but that's honestly like one of my gripes. We can talk about this in the news too, um, because there are some gripes I have with the Emmy nominations that were released this week. Some people got some nominations for guest starring roles on shows, and I'm like, you were in there for like a total of 2 minutes, like, and I don't even think they were an impactful 2 minutes. So sometimes it just feels like I don't know where Hollywood gets
Sure.
like some of these like award nominations. So
Well, I mean, things, yeah, maybe we'll keep the spice going because I might have some differing viewpoints on that story when we get there.
for sure.
Um,
We
I
can keep the spice going right now and talk about my
okay.
spicy drink.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So also made with the rocks tequila, Terramana. I have made a watermelon and jalapeno margarita.
Mm, nice.
Yep. And with
Okay,
a little spicy
so
rim here.
oh yeah, spicy rim.
Mhm.
Um, the would you make like a jalapeno simple syrup, or would you do jalapeno wise, or is it like a just a slice of fresh jalapeno, or
There's a slice of fresh jalapeno in there, and then a couple little, uh, um, jalapeno seeds that I blended up in margarita as well.
oh nice,
Mhm.
cool, sounds good. Yeah, I just kind of
Quite
like
good.
invented something with mine. I'm not drinking it straight. I though I did try it, and
I
it
did
is really
too, yeah.
good, but I put cranberry and lemon, and I have this like pure pomegranate syrup from Israel.
Mm,
That's my little bit of sweetness. So
that sounds good.
it's not exactly what you'd think of when you think of like a tequila drink, I would say, but it's good nonetheless. So
You make it your own.
yep. hmm yeah, when I saw your drink, I thought it was the other holiday that you were celebrating, but
Yeah, June or July 19th was daiquiri day. But yeah, I'm not usually like into the blended drinks. I've been into um like the watermelon margaritas recently, and
sure.
you really can't not blend that. It doesn't really work to just like have a watermelon margarita on the rocks. So,
Okay.
because I use
Yeah.
like actual watermelon to like blend up in
Right.
there. So,
Yep. I I like blended drinks. I just don't usually get them because it's so often they're not made well, you
yes.
know.
Yep.
It's just like, well, I could just go and get an icy somewhere too, if I
Mhm.
want and add my own alcohol, I guess, or whatever, but like it's just a sugar bomb,
Yeah.
which is okay, but you can only have so much of that, and when you want a
Right.
cocktail, like give me a cocktail, please. So,
Right. Yeah, that was always my least favorite request as a bartender was like a blended drink because I knew
mm,
usually it was like the one like that people would complain about the
you knew
most.
what they wanted. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, they complain about it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because blended drinks are hard to get right for people. Like usually people
Mhm.
like when they want a blended drink, they want it like a very certain way and like they feel like, "Oh, it's too sugary," or, "Oh, like you didn't get this flavor in there enough," or whatever. Or, "Oh, I don't like the consistency," or whatever.
Mm,
It's just a lot. I don't there people find a lot more to complain about in a blended beverage rather than like just having something straight up.
sure. Well, I think people get really used to, like, when they order a specific cocktail, like, if it's like, "Oh, I get my rum and coke,"
Mhm.
that they know what the variation of degrees is and, like, exactly what to expect there, and I feel like it
Mhm.
can really be really different on, yeah, you're blending with, like, maybe there needs to be some more standards maybe
Yeah.
for, some of these drinks. I don't know.
Well, and especially if, you're used to making something at home, and you're used to making it either much stronger or much weaker than, like the typical bar pour, then
Mhm.
it's going to be a lot different for you.
Yep. Yep. All right. News. We got a few news stories this week.
Mhm.
Some
Yeah.
of them will be quick, some of them will be discussions. Uh I don't have a good transition, I guess, but up front we have a few video game stories.
Yeah.
It's been rumored for a while, and EA did have their event, and they did indeed reveal a Dead Space game. They are
Mhm.
people didn't know, like, are they gonna make a sequel or what's gonna happen? They're remaking the original.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm guessing this game is quite a ways out, but I'm excited because Dead Space is good. I didn't play much of it because it's absolutely terrifying, but I would like to give it another shot. It's really cool. So I am excited for this.
Excellent.
Yeah. If like RE Village wasn't intense enough for you, go Dead Space. Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's a recommendation.
Yeah. You'd found this, but this
Mhm.
was kind of, I don't know if it was intentional shade or what exactly, but basically the day that, if I recall correctly, the day that they set up pre-orders for the new version of the Nintendo Switch, the OLED version, Steam or
Mhm.
Valve, I guess, announced the Valve Steam Deck, which is
Mhm.
basically a handheld portable PC,
Mhm.
a la the Switch, but running Steam OS,
Yes.
and touting that it doesn't switch. It's as it is, um, but touting that it can play some pretty high end PC games on the go.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, you looked into this? What do you think of it? Is your interest peaked?
I would say yes. One of the I think one of the people that were interviewed for this article talks about the fact that, like I sit at a computer all day and sometimes the last thing I want to do to play a game is sit at my computer again. Like even if I'm still staring at a screen, I just need like a change of venue. And like I get that. Like, yeah, like I don't know that I have a pretty sweet setup in my office. Thanks to our producer Alan. Um, but like I spend so much time in here already. Like, I don't know. Sometimes there's just moments where you're just like, I gotta get out of this same room. But I still want to
Sure.
play, like, but I do want to like make the foray into Steam, um, and like more PC gaming. But it'd be nice to, yeah, like have that be able to be on the go. So I think this
Mm.
is a smart move.
I, I'm really really interested in what how this is going to do. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
Valve released they had kind of an initiative to set up so different OEMs could make, I think they were called Steam boxes back in the day, which were
Right.
like small PCs and stuff like that. And that didn't take off. They kind of abandoned it quickly.
Mhm.
This, everybody's like putting it head to head with the Switch, but it's really not. I don't know. It to me, it seems like a very niche device.
Mhm.
Um, it targeting specifically people that have giant Steam libraries.
Mhm.
If you have a giant Steam library that's been essentially your platform that you've chosen over the last 15 years or whatever, um, yeah, I can see that, like, you want to take some of those things with you potentially. And you can plug this supposedly coming later, you can plug this into a television and
Mhm.
whatever. So kind of getting Switch type of functionality that way.
Right.
Um, but I always say, like, you get the most games available to you if you play on PC,
Mhm.
but you have more work to play on PC. Like, it's still like a lot of people, really, really a lot of people, their barrier to entry for gaming is going to be, well, I have my smartphone, so I'm going to play some games there. Now, if they
Sure.
want to take this step up and play something a little more involved, then the console, or whether that be a PlayStation or a Switch or whatever, is usually that step.
Mhm.
PC requires like dedication. Like um to someone that's used to using it, it often doesn't seem like a big deal. But like,
Right.
I'll be playing with my brother-in-law, and like all of a sudden he is dropping frames playing Fortnite. Why? I don't know. Well, he can figure it out. can take some time and like, oh, this is running in the background, this is doing this or whatever. But normal people don't do that.
Right.
They're like, my game isn't working.
Mhm.
Now what? When I want to play a game on Game Pass that is part of EA Play that's included in Game Pass, I then have to click on that game and it says you need to download EA's launcher. So then
Mhm.
EA's launcher downloads for that. But then if it's the outdated version, there's two versions of this, then you can mess it up. You have trouble like it launching. So you get to get rid of the other one and have the newer one on or whatever. And you
Right.
get to like it's I was playing with Shane and it was a hassle. We got it figured out, but a hassle. Uh Games are segmented in a lot of ways this way. You want to play Blizzard Activision games, you need their launcher. And this is all on a system that can still get viruses, that you still like do other things on potentially. Like normal people don't PC game, okay? Normal
Mhm.
people don't do it. But if you're into it, you're an enthusiast, you're used to running Windows or Linux or whatever your thing is, and you want it like great. It's the best place to play. You know, you get the highest performance and the most game choices. So, anyways, my point is the Valve Steam Deck is I feel like it's targeting that group, which is a sizable group, but that still
Mhm.
niche group of gamers that maybe want to take something on the go. And I wonder how well it will perform. Like, how well is Steam OS going to be? Is it going to be a stable thing on here?
Yeah.
Or is it going to manage I don't know. I'm just interested, if this is going to take off or flop. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, legit questions. I mean, like, who is this for? And is it
Hmm.
gonna hit its target market? Or, are we really gonna see like newer gamers, or somebody like myself who like, did some PC gaming a long, long, long time ago, has sort of like thought about getting back into it, hasn't quite pulled the trigger yet. Like, is this a way in?
Yep.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah. And there's I mean, I always think of when I think of like new gamers and stuff or people coming back to it. I always think of our friend Tara because I
Sure.
never expected that she would like jump back into it, but she's jumped back in and the Switch was that entry point for her.
Hmm.
And because the Switch is a very low like easy entry, no barrier kind of device. It's
Hmm.
friendly, it's very simple to use. Um, and this like I mean the battery life range is like 2 to 8 hours. Well, if you're gonna play a big game, it's gonna be like that 2 hours. Okay.
Right.
So
Which
you better
which
be
can be
near an
quite
outlet.
disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're taking this on the go, be near an out. It's like bringing a gaming laptop someplace.
Hmm.
You're never going to use your gaming laptop not plugged into the wall. Like that's just the
Right.
way it is.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just I don't know. I could like, rant back and forth all day about what I think of this thing or whatever, but I just I don't know. I want to know what it's going to do. I can't see the future. The future's clouded with this one.
Be
So,
handy. Be handy.
yeah. Another video game story which is interesting that you put in here.
Mhm.
Wanna let us know what this is all is about? I have some connective things to this as well here.
Yeah. So, Netflix officially announced that it is going to be getting into gaming, specifically original gaming. It's going to offer its subscribers. I think they're going to start first for phone games, if I remember correctly from the article. They're gonna do um, on your phone marketplace games, and
Sure.
then move into figuring out console gaming. And then they said the plan is to build off of like console games and then turn those, if they're successful, into then Netflix shows. So then it's like this
Right.
whole big like circular, like production vehicle that keeps like, giving on back to them and getting returns for them. Um and giving them content, kind of in dual areas, both in gaming and obviously in their original wheelhouse, which is, TV shows. I I don't love this like at all.
Okay, interesting.
Um
Okay.
I think it's like a weird knee jerk reaction to falling subscribers, which I think what everybody knew coming out of the pandemic that people were just going to not be streaming as much and they were going to lose subscribers, and that's fine. And I think this is like a weird panic move. Um I mean, I don't doubt that they've thought about this before, but I just think about all of Amazon's failures in the gaming arena, and
Yeah,
I don't know how this is not gonna be another failure. I think Netflix has done really well with, shows based on gaming and creating content out of, already existing games elsewhere. Like, they had the new Resident Evil series drop, which I've started and I like so far. Um,
oh yeah.
so yeah, so they've already done things that I think work. I think they just need to, like, stay in that lane rather than, like, making the foray into gaming.
Sure.
Because I
Alan
really
just
haven't.
shared in our oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. What did Alan just share?
Well, he's saying because you brought up Amazon.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Amazon has been letting people. There's been beta tests and stuff
Yeah.
for their new game, their
Sure.
MMORPG or whatever, and then
Sure.
he's saying it's been bricking some people's graphic cards. So um, that's not great.
Yeah. So yeah, so if you want another, like, cautionary tale from Amazon, there's another, poor
hmm
showing there. Um, yeah, no, I don't what I was gonna say.
But you're talking about if figuring Netflix should stick to doing adaptations of games and
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that, maybe series.
Yeah, I think they've had success in that arena, and I think, like, they produce so much great original content. They've already, you know, they've nailed that. I haven't heard, like, any sort of, like, here's our gaming team, or, we're pairing up with, so and so to
Right.
produce these so there's no, like, ooh, like, this person really knows what they're doing, like, there's no even
Yeah.
chance to be excited about that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
I
that's a
don't
good
know.
point.
It's troublesome to me.
Because everybody keeps talking about different acquisitions potentially
Mhm.
happening in the gaming space. Like just with the way production costs are going right now, it seems like a lot of people are for sale or they're potentially like willing to sell if the money's right.
Mhm. Right.
And yeah, it would have been interesting. I wouldn't have liked it, but it would have been really interesting if they would have kind of announced this with a purchase announcement as well. Like, hey,
Right. Or
we're
a
grabbing
partnership
this,
or
whatever. Yeah.
yeah.
And which leads me to like my thing, because before this was announced, um, there have been some rumors going around, and I don't know how credible they are. But the idea was that maybe PlayStation was making some sort of deal with Netflix
Oh,
because I think they're going to be
sure.
some of Sony's content is coming to Netflix. So they already have some sort of working deal.
Mhm.
And basically, there was like a data mine thing that showed Ghost of Tsushima and a PlayStation 5 controller when they were looking through Netflix's stuff.
Oh, okay.
And
Interesting.
and um, Sony is going to have real problems competing with one. They can't compete with Nintendo because Nintendo sells hardware that's a little older that they can actually make money on, and
Right.
they've got like a massive catalog of like lovable characters that people know around the world. And
Right.
then Microsoft is just a behemoth. They're a $2 trillion company, and they can afford to lose money while they build their Netflix of gaming. But so they
Mhm.
have a big head start here. Well, I'm sure Netflix has heard, well, Netflix of gaming for Game Pass all the time. Well, why aren't we just Netflix, the Netflix of gaming? you know?
Right.
So I can understand that. And I wonder if maybe there's something to Sony making some sort of deal with Netflix, that because Sony can't afford to put out all their games for free on a streaming service. They can't
Right.
do that. Like Sony makes so much money from PlayStation, they can't use other parts of the company to float PlayStation.
Yep.
So if they had some sort of deal where, you get PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus and Netflix together in one, they're you can access one another from either as UI or whatever kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um that's something I could see making a lot of sense, because
I agree
Sony
with
is
you.
smartly trying to like reach out. They've made a partnership with Discord. They
Mhm.
bought Evo, the fighting thing. They made a partnership with someone making a fight or some multiplayer game for them. So they're trying to do these partnership things, and someone as big as Netflix would be quite the catch. So
Yeah, absolutely. That would be quite the get. Um, yeah, I mean, I I would have more probably mixed feelings about a Netflix Sony partnership. Um, you know, good and bad. Good in the sense of like it would make me, I guess, think Netflix was more legit in moving into this gaming arena. I might not like the fact that, it feels like Sony would be subsumed by Netflix, and maybe there would be some creative issues there. Um, but at least it would signal to me that, like I said, this is a legit move. Right now, this just seems like, why are you doing this?
well, what if Netflix, so they start making, hiring outs to make their mobile games, but then they have a tab within the Netflix thing that is just labeled PlayStation. And so you can
Hmm.
access PlayStation in the Netflix app and stream games. Netflix is
Like
very good at streaming.
so,
So
like
you just
already
be
made games, just like kind of Game
Yep.
Pass.
So they would give
Sure,
access to PlayStation catalog
sure.
of games that could stream, and you get that bundled in with your Netflix cost or whatever, and you're good to go. And then if Netflix, if there's, this is successful for them, they see a future in this, and they start put their own studio together to make their own games. Not only can they release them on this service, but then they could also release them exclusively
Hmm.
for PlayStation like, so it'd either be on the
Yeah,
streaming app on Netflix, or it would be on PlayStation hardware, that if you want to
yeah.
like buy a disc or download it or something like that. It could be, I mean, that's complicated because, these giant corporations and each of them making each other happy, that's a difficult thing. But
That would be my
that could,
worry.
yeah.
Like what
But
you're proposing sounds like an equal partnership and would benefit both companies. But my
mhm.
worry would be that like what if Netflix doesn't put together its own gaming team and just sort of like leans on Sony and says like, "Hey, we have all these ideas about games and we want you to produce them." And Sony's like, "But we're already doing these other games." And they're like, "Well, like who
Well,
owns who? Are
sure.
we in a partnership or is like Netflix like taking over Sony and they're like, surprise, like we want you to like produce our games now." So,
I don't think there'll be any sort of, I think that would be very strict, that it would be no sort of acquisition. It'd be strictly like we're making a mutual thing here to you're getting Netflix, you're getting a head start in the gaming
mhm.
space. You're getting a lot of people
Yeah,
coming to your service because they can play the games that they know and love from us. And us, Sony, are getting like, because we're going to need to be able to compete in this streaming world of
right.
gaming. And so like, if as long as ego isn't like getting away, and like that could work. I again, these are really
I
just, we're
agree.
spitballing. It's like this is
Yeah, yeah,
not
there's no like deal.
substantiated. No. Um, but I think it could work. I mean, but I could see Netflix being like, because Sony owns Crunchyroll and Funimation.
Right.
Netflix competes very heavily in streaming anime,
Yes.
and so they're direct competitors in this sense, but they're direct competitors in the sense that Sony makes movies and Netflix makes movies, and
Right.
whatever. But I don't know. So,
Yeah,
but they've
it's
worked good in the past before, so I know.
yeah, it's interesting It's an interesting move. Um, right, yeah, like, right now, I still feel like it's a little bit of a panic move by Netflix to, like, announce this without anything big to substantiate it,
Right.
to back it up, to
Yep.
make it feel legit. But in the future, if they do announce that, like, you know, I'm willing to give it a shot and see where they take it.
Sure.
Um, if they're truly gonna do this, like, multi-year development of, first we'll develop the game and then we'll, make the movie or the TV series off the game, and maybe that'll spawn like a new game, and like the
Mhm.
ball just keeps rolling. Yeah, potentially a very interesting source of content for them, and a way to um, maybe get a new demographic or lure people back in, who maybe like canceled their subscription or something.
Yep. And
So
I mean,
time will tell, but I don't know.
that exact thing you just said is so in line with what Sony is trying to do. Like
Yeah.
they're very like we want to make some more mobile games now. We want to have our television shows and movies that are
Hmm.
based on our IP already. So they definitely want to see this sort of connectivity between mediums as well. So
Right. Right.
similar vision.
Yeah, so we'll see who kind of does it the best.
Yep.
Nobody is doing it first because everybody's kind of doing it, but we'll see who does it the
Mhm.
best.
Moving out of gaming news, we talked a little bit last week about the Black Widow premiere
Yeah.
and the numbers it was brought in, and just being how it's difficult now in this like the state of the entertainment world, how to judge the success of a film or not.
Mhm.
And Disney came out pretty thumping their chest about their first weekend, and then we're pretty quiet on the second.
Mhm.
Um, and it sounds like Space Jam even did a little better than
Yeah.
Black Widow on the second weekend. So there's a big drop off,
Ugh.
and theaters are mad. They're mad at Disney. So theaters had the idea that, well, see, this wouldn't be the case if you wouldn't be putting your thing on your streaming service. So how dare
Mhm.
you?
Right.
And I don't know. It's kind of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, I so we're talking about last week how, Chris and I felt like Black Widow is kind of one of those movies that, if we had our druthers, we'd go to the movie theater to see it, rather than like pay the money for, getting it on our Disney Plus. We'd rather like actually go to the theater and spend that money on like a night out or whatever. But I could see where, having once done that, and we were like, "Oh, we really wanna watch it again." We're not gonna go to the theater probably to watch it again. At that point, yeah, we probably might, like, fork out the money, to rent it on Disney Plus the second time. So I could see where,
Mm,
like, theaters could get mad that they're like, "We're not getting, like, these repeat viewers. We're not getting the people who are coming back to the theater to watch it a second time." Like, they're going
right.
home and being like, I don't really wanna go out to the theater again. Like, let's just, get it on Disney Premiere."
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird time because I see so many like different assumptions out
Yeah.
there, one way or another, about like, again, it's this blame game. It's what's happening
Mhm.
here. And it's just, there's too many factors to know
Mhm. It's
what's
hard to know the
occurring.
truth, yeah, of
Yeah.
people's behavior.
Um,
Yep.
so it's, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we're back to where we don't know anything, guys. All right, we have no answers. We don't know what's gonna happen here. It's all up in the air. Um,
Well, and part of me wonders if, we were talking, I think, a few episodes back now, about our own viewing habits and how we don't really rewatch movies and TV shows as much as we used to,
yeah,
because there's so much out there that's offered that you just feel like you almost can't waste the time
you got to keep
doing like a
going.
rewatch. Yeah, you have to keep going. You have to like watch the next big thing that everybody's talking about, or like the next thing that you're interested in, or, you know, I wonder if, that's just gonna be a symptom now of anything that's released. That,
Hmm.
people are just gonna be that like one and done. And you really only get like a very select group of diehards that are like, yeah, I'll go back and watch that again, even if I have to
Hmm.
pay for it.
Yep. I just think, I mean, I I just think the industry is going to have to recalibrate. And I think the
Yeah.
theater is going to have to stop making us think about it like
Yep.
understand the position that you're in. Like the writing is on the wall. It
Mhm.
has been for many years. You know, it's kind of like Blockbuster. I think
Yeah.
Blockbuster um was had the ability at one point to buy Netflix, and
Really?
they decided no on, "Oh, we'll pass on that."
Oh god.
Fools.
Oh god.
You
Oh
know,
god.
you don't
I
see
don't know
the
who passed on
it's
that if that's real, but oh my god, I can't
yeah.
imagine that they're anywhere else but, like, just, like, a shack in a cave or something somewhere just holed up being like, "What did I do?"
You know, it's Kodak versus Fujifilm.
Mhm.
Kodak, was the big film, producer in America, and Fujifilm was in, like, East Asia. In in Japan, and Japan's like incredibly prevalent for cameras.
Mhm.
Well, Fuji saw the writing on the wall when it came to film. They started investing in other areas of imaging. And so though they still did film, like they got into like medical imaging and
Yes. Mhm.
moved into digital, and Kodak didn't.
Yep.
Kodak tried to transition way too late to anything
Yep.
else and just died like an American classic, just such a huge brand. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, all but dead. And yeah, theaters, like, I think it's just such a Gestapo. They just like, have such a, they've had such, like Hollywood and the theater systems have just had each other by the balls for like so many
Mhm.
years. And I just think no one's going anywhere. This is the way a system works, guys. And
Mhm.
and then, when they can't maintain control anymore, they start freaking out.
Spicy, John.
Yep.
No, I agree, I
Uh,
agree. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's gonna have to recalibrate measures of success now, because I just don't think that you can pre and post pandemic, they're just not ever gonna quite match up. I think too much of our behavior and habits, and those include our entertainment and movie going habits, have been changed, and I think they're not small changes. They've been ingrained now for a year plus, and we're just so used to them that,
yep.
we're just not gonna go back to the way it was.
Yep.
So, yeah, so everybody, I mean, we can still, I think, you know, l look at, is a film a success or not based on numbers, but I think the numbers just have to be different, and we have to
Yep.
calibrate against, like, a different, measuring stick.
Yep. Um,
That
Alan
being
shared this
said,
thing that, oh, go
oh,
ahead.
no, what did Alan share?
It's about photography. Um, I think I mean I would need
Kodak
time to like look at this, but I think he's talking about um person that invented the first digital camera while working at
at
Eastman
Kodak.
Kodak in 1975. It's about 8 pounds. Um, there's a
Wow.
video to watch with this. I'd have to like get back to you
Yeah,
on what's going on here.
that is
Um,
fascinating.
while
The
Kodak might
first
not have
digital
seen the
camera.
potential in a digital future, Steven did. Of course, there were no cell phones, no internet, most TVs still black and white.
It's crazy to think, like, a
Um,
digital camera existed in the '70s, like, that blows my mind.
yeah, here's the line. Kodak also held about 90% of the film market at the time, seeing
Oof.
digital as a competitor to their own film products. Rather than the future of photography, Kodak chose
Ooh,
not to pursue it.
ooh.
Um, this is my lesson to people always with like competition. There's always this idea that someone's, like understand what you do. What you
Mhm.
do is not film. What you do is provide, like still captures of people's memories.
Right,
How that happens is your job,
right.
not like, like it's so whether it's making phone calls,
Mhm.
what it's not. making phone calls, it's communicating. So if you
Right.
were like, "Oh, well, we don't want to do this texting thing. Texting's stupid. It's we call. We
It's
do
some other company,
voice
yeah.
calls." Right, yeah. Then it's yeah, it's not the way this works.
Yep.
So,
Innovate or
anyways,
die.
yep. Um talking about dying, Halloween, scary
Yes.
things. What's this
Yes.
going on here?
Yeah, so, Bruce Campbell, of the, Evil Dead franchise, and many other things, but, a lot of people
Yep.
obviously know him from Evil Dead, did an interview recently, about the fact that, Evil Dead is being re-released on the big screen for Halloween, which is definitely something I would go to a movie theater to see, even
Yeah.
if, we're not gonna measure it by box office millions or whatever, like, this would be a fun thing, like, I would go to
Yes.
this, I love it. Um,
Absolutely.
reminds me kind of, like my childhood when, like, Star Wars was re-released on screen or, just, like, those, like,
Mhm.
iconic things that get re-released. They're just, like, really fun to go to.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that's gonna be re-released, around Halloween, I think, like, the first couple of weeks in October. And then they're talking about, the new Evil Dead movie, which he will not be in. He's just doing like a voiceover, um, and like a special intro, which I am bummed about. But
Yeah. We discussed
obviously,
this, yes.
obviously, yeah, his choice to not
Be a
play
part of
Ash
it
in this.
still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's gonna be making his own new contribution to the Evil Dead franchise by, voice being a voice in the new video game that's coming out, which I'm also like interested in, even though I had mixed feelings about video games that come from movie
Mhm.
properties. But at least Evil Dead looked fun, whereas like some of the other ones that were debuting, like Fast and Furious and Stranger Things and even Guardians of the Galaxy, that we were talking about from E3
Mhm.
just didn't really look all that appealing.
No.
Um, but this one does, so I think I'll give it a
Mhm.
shot. And then he was also asked about being in Doctor Strange 2 and gave some strong hints that this was for real, that this was legit.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm cool with that as well.
Mhm. Yeah. He can be like a different realm or dimensions.
Hmm.
What's called? Something you're the whatever prime or the magician something. You're like the sorcerer supreme. That's it.
Okay, all right. Okay,
He can be the
I got you
sorcerer
now. I got you now.
supreme
Okay.
of another
I'm sorry, I was
dimension
like
or something like that.
Prime, like Optimus Prime, like this isn't Transformers. I'm sorry, I couldn't get there, but yes, Supreme. Yes, that would be sweet. I would love it.
Mhm.
Or like he could be, I don't know, could he be like Doctor Strange's father or something? Like, could you see that? I could
Mm.
see that,
And
like
like
from
that
like another
Doctor Strange
dimension or
wants
something.
nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
He's like totally disowned him. But I
Or
don't
like he
know.
could be from another
Yeah,
dimension where, like Doctor Strange had like a totally different life or I don't know.
man, isn't
There's
the different dimension thing so convenient? Wow, it's
it
almost like
really
it's
is.
a good mechanic for lazy writers. Ah, man, it's
The multiverse.
yeah, yeah. No, I'll be excited to see what he does, and I would love if I could get to the Alamo to see the Evil Dead when it comes back out. It'd be fun.
Agreed. Agreed. I'm so psyched that the Alamo is opening up. I had originally heard it was opening up in July and thought it would be open for Black Widow, but apparently they're either opening like at the very end of July or August. So,
Yeah, it's
or like early
God,
August.
I
I can't
hadn't heard
remember.
too when that was. Yeah, I think it was like the first week of August,
Okay. So they
um,
shifted that
if
again
I
then.
recall. But
Yeah.
coming up, it's coming up. So, um, One more news story before you give a review of
Mhm.
Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Um, Emmy nominations, huh?
Yeah, they were released this past week. I mean, late last week, I think technically on Friday, when we'd already had like a bunch to cover for our show on Loki. Um, but yeah, just a lot of nominations that I was excited about just because I feel like I've actually watched a lot of these shows, you
Okay.
know? Um, like The Boys is on there, Bridgerton, The Crown, The Mandalorian, Lovecraft Country, Cobra Kai's in there, Ted Lasso, which obviously I'm going to talk about. And a lot of the actors from a lot of these same, so it's a lot of the same series kind of being nominated over and over again, but there are a lot of
Yeah.
really great series. Um, so I mean, if nobody else is coming up and like, you know, doing it better, I mean,
Hmm.
I've seen, like I said, I would probably say now like 70% of these shows, and they're all
Wow.
excellent in my opinion.
Nice.
So
I
yeah.
see that your favorite Emily in Paris is nominated for Outstanding
Ugh,
Comedy Series.
that's okay. Yeah. That's one I have seen, and so here's where me and whoever is making these nominations are starting to disagree because Emily in Paris, while a fine show to have on in the background while you're doing something else, is not Emmy worthy. It just isn't. Unless you're doing costume
Does
design, and then I completely am like totally for it. Clothes were fabulous because it's Patricia Field who did Sex in the City, and she does have an eye. Like I love, you know, the clothes that she puts her characters in. But if we're talking about acting, Jesus no.
does The Handmaid's Tale deserve that many supporting actress in a drama series? Like that many stand out?
That's
There's four of them just for one category.
well, I don't know because I also looked at the outstanding supporting actor in a comedy series, and you've got 4 guys from Ted Lasso. Like, so
Um.
apparently they have the
Oh
same
yeah.
issue.
Huh.
It's, like, dominated by Ted Lasso, and when I think about, like, the guys in there, yeah, they all did, like, really, really, really great jobs. So I just don't know if it was, like, there was a dearth of, great acting at this position, or if they were just sort of like stuck and they were like, well, we can't choose, so let's throw them all in there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
that's,
Ewan McGregor nominated for Halston.
yes, I
I want to
did see
watch.
that.
I haven't heard if it's good or not. I want to watch that still.
I know
I
it,
just
it got
like Ewan
heavily
McGregor stuff.
advertised and then like disappeared. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, so good, bad, otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah, that made me interested to go back and see that. Um, I was excited also to see that WandaVision was nominated for Outstanding Limited Series because I really loved it. I
Hmm.
think Loki was just too recent. Like, obviously they couldn't,
Right.
view that before making all of these nominations, but I was very excited to see WandaVision on there. And both Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen nominated for acting because I thought they did outstanding jobs. Um, but when we start getting into the outstanding guest actor in a
Okay.
series
Yeah.
and actress,
Hmm.
I'm this is again like one of my gripes here. Don Cheadle is nominated for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Do you remember
I
Don
forgot he was
Cheadle?
even in there. No, I was to
He
say until I saw this and thought about it,
where
I
he
did not
like
remember that.
introduces Sam at the Smithsonian and they have like a 5-second chat and Don
Couldn't you
Cheadle,
feel it?
everybody?
It was like he was reaching through the screen to pull at your heart.
No. No. And I love Don Cheadle. I do.
Yeah, I mean,
But no.
yeah, no, that's a bit.
It's a
That's something
stretch.
I
It's
see
a
that
terrible
too.
stretch. Or
Hmm.
I mean I don't think you've seen this, but I did. Claire Foy was nominated for The Crown. She is also in exactly like 5 minutes of this season as a flashback.
Okay, yeah.
And
Mhm.
again, it's not like this like big, huge, impactful thing. And I
Yep.
think this is very like reminiscent of, you know, Anne Hathaway getting nominated for being in 10 Minutes of Les Mis, where
Mhm.
it's like, really? This is like feeling like a stretch here, people.
Well, and see this too in guest actor, Carl Weathers, and I like Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
think he's a class act and he does a good job in the show, but he's honestly doesn't seem like a guest actor. He's a supporting actor.
Sure.
He has a reoccurring role.
Sure.
Timothy Olyphant, I get, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's a wrong category. Like someone just
Yeah.
wanted to give him a nomination.
Yeah. And I feel like if it's such a stretch, like either have less nominees or just like maybe pause the category for a year. If there's nothing that really strikes you,
Yeah,
like I
right.
just don't know
Don't.
why like you can't just be like, nope, not this year. We just didn't see anything that was in there.
Yep.
I think that's fine. It's not like you're
Yeah.
pausing like the outstanding, lead actor or actress or the outstanding series. Like that would be crazy. But I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know. Sometimes it's just like, or like here in Outstanding Variety Sketch Series, which is a very specific category, they have two nominations. Cool. That doesn't bother me to have that few nominations if that's
Right.
all you thought deserved to get
Yeah.
in there. Doesn't bother me.
Hmm.
Just like make it real, people. The
Yeah. Hmm. When does this air?
Emmys?
Yeah. September 19th. We got some
Yes.
time.
Yes. Around my birthday, apparently.
Yeah. Well, yay for you. Birthday gift.
Yay! You know what would have been a good birthday gift is if they did not cancel Lovecraft Country, which got 18 nominations. Just
Okay.
saying.
Okay.
I'm a
See,
little
but
salty about that as well. Like, clearly, like, you know, whatever voting body that made this up thought it was good enough to give 18 nominations to. And studio execs were still like, no, we're good. We're going to cancel season two.
they also thought that Don Cheadle should be maybe best.
Yeah, I know. It's very
So
confusing. I want to cherry pick, John. Don't confuse me with logic.
yeah, I mean, personally, I would be excited if Hollywood and any associated entity in the entertainment space didn't care about the awards. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like because it's so common, and you often can tell, or it's strongly assumed that someone making a specific movie is shooting for the Oscar. They're going for
Mhm.
the Oscar with this one, and that's the intent. And I don't want that as the intent. I don't want
Right.
the intent of someone is like, I need a physical item to showcase the you know adulation that the fans and a small board of like know-it-alls has for me or whatever. Like,
Mhm.
just make your art, and
Right.
if people love it, I hope they love it, if it's worthy, and if they don't, then stop. So, what were the ratings like? What's the viewership like for Lovecraft Country? That's the thing that matters. But then you do get confused because sometimes that seems to not matter. Uh Netflix had a very popular show in Jupiter's Legacy, I guess. That was
Yes.
doing very well. And
Yes.
then very quickly they said we're not doing any more of it.
Yep.
So it's the decisions made are sometimes very baffling,
Yes.
very
Very
odd.
arbitrary. Like what is your metric if it's not awards or if it's not, you know,
Hmm.
like viewership or popularity? Like what is
Yep.
it? Yeah. Or
Yep.
did somebody just make the decision a little bit too prematurely?
Yeah.
Like they just thought like, "Oh, it's not going well right now or immediately after we've launched, whatever show we've launched. So that must mean it's not gonna go well ever, so let's just, like, cut
Mhm.
our losses. Yeah.
Well, Netflix has the thing to shake that I guess they don't seem to want to do that. Like, so it seems like with Jupiter's Legacy, a lot of people came and watched the show, but it was
Mhm.
all available at once, like Netflix does.
Yeah.
And then people are watching it and talking about it for like a couple days, and then it's gone and no one's talking about it again.
Right.
Anyone that's watching it is such a small group. So if you do make it an event where you get an episode a week, like Disney is doing or whatever, HBO does, all that kind of
Mhm.
thing, then you spread out that hype. You keep your show in the conversation.
Right.
Um, so I don't know. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that your show did not get reviewed or renewed, but
Yes.
maybe, I mean, will that make you feel better if it wins awards? Or just
Maybe.
make you more mad, be like, "Come on."
Maybe it'll be a consolation prize. And it's not like
Did
I haven't seen some of the actors elsewhere. Obviously, we were just talking about, Loki
Yes.
and seeing, the sister from Lovecraft Country. I cannot remember Ruby, I think.
Well, and
Um
I mean, I won't spoil it, I guess, but the star of Lovecraft Country too makes his appearance.
Oh, right. Yes, he did.
Yep. And, like, I've only
Jonathan
seen the first
Majors, yeah.
episode of Lovecraft, but he he did a really good job in there for sure.
He did.
Like, is
Mhm.
he nominated?
He is, yes.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, I think almost all of the actors are nominated for
okay.
Lovecraft Country. Yep, Jonathan Majors, Journey Smollett, Michael K. Williams, and I don't know how to pronounce her name, Anjanou Ellis?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. I made my best effort, so yeah, so I
Alright.
mean, slew of acting awards, which I think were well
Yep,
deserved.
yeah. Alright. That's the news. Sure there's more, but that's the
Yeah.
big stuff we found. So, um,
Well, and speaking of
well, I guess I should
awards.
say, yeah, awards, other news,
Mhm.
Ted Lasso.
Yeah. So Ted Lasso season 2, not in its entirety, but just episode 1 of season 2 dropped today on Apple TV. And the first season of Ted Lasso, I think received 20 nominations for the Emmys, including obviously we just talked about like 4 um, outstanding supporting actor nominations, and obviously a lead for Jason Sudeikis. Um, I think it got like best comedy series, a few others as well. But yeah, yeah, it's quite the hit, and I think basically a lot of what people seem to be talking about right now. It's been all over the news. It's been all over Twitter. I even found it trending on my work Twitter account today. So I
Interesting.
was like, okay, like some of the professors that my account follows in the School of Public Health were talking about Ted Lasso. So it seems to be one of those just like hot shows, especially right now, between all the Emmy nominations and between season 2 coming. So.
Well, and that's a good um example of not giving up on your show too quickly
Mhm.
because season 1 I'd heard a lot of people like it,
Mhm.
but it wasn't like this huge show.
It was
It
pretty
didn't make
quiet
a
still.
dent. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if now all of a sudden season two's coming out and the like evangelists from season one are
Mm.
like, ringing the church bells and shouting on high, then yeah, maybe it'll make a difference and season two will blow up.
Yeah, I think it's well positioned as a show that it's not it's almost family friendly. I'm going to say that about it. Um,
Okay.
it's so close. It's a really good show. It's got like a positive spin and a positive angle to it. But there's
Hmm.
definitely like enough dirty humor that you wouldn't exactly want to watch this with your kids. It's
Okay.
a little bit too adult for children, maybe not for teens. You could maybe watch it, if you've got like teenage kids, but
Yeah.
definitely not like little kid friendly unless you're quite certain that dirty jokes are going to blow completely over their head. And
Okay.
it's got quite the filthy language too from some of characters. So
So what I want to know in
yeah.
your spoiler free review here.
Yes,
Um
I'm gonna do my best. If you want to
so
know nothing about Ted Lasso, like, obviously, like, stop listening, pause, come back after you've watched some Ted Lasso, because there's no way to talk about it, like, and not say anything about it. But yes, I will be major plot point spoiler free.
I want to know, like, should I watch this show? I
Yes.
really don't want to watch shows about sports. Okay? I
Let's
don't care at all.
Okay,
So,
that is one of the best and worst things about this show.
okay.
So, this show is tangentially about sports. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
looks like it would be heavily sports focused. And sports serves as a really great backdrop for the show, but you don't have to know anything basically about sports to watch this show. Because I know absolutely zero about soccer. Um, and that is not a main focus of this show. The main focus of this show is relationships between characters. Um, Either ones that are already there and are solidly developed enough that like these characters just sort of like fall into this really great natural rapport, and it's just like watching them like banter back and forth on screen, as with our main character Ted Lasso and his assistant coach, Coach Beard. um, they clearly already have had a very established relationship, and they're like the heart of the show. They just get each other, and they can just like speak in shorthand. But they speak in a shorthand that somehow invites the audience in. You feel like you're in the inner circle. Like they don't have like inner jokes that you're somehow not a part of. So that's kind of one of the really great things. Like they have this like established relationship, but then, these pair of characters go to England. They're very fish out of water. They're football coaches trying to coach European football. Um, and they're forging new relationships, amongst the team. And that's really the focus of the show is the forging of relationships. So I think that part is one of the best, especially for people who aren't interested in like a sports drama, um Friday Night Lights or something like that. That was a little bit more sports heavy, so
Right.
you did have to understand some of the rules of the game to get in there. This is much less than that. On the flip side, sometimes the show treats, the sports side of it a little too lightly. They
Mm.
have this whole great angle about, Ted's a fish out of water and haha, isn't it funny? Like he doesn't know anything about soccer. But then there's a point later on in the season where they make the joke again, and you're like, he really should have, like, learned something about soccer by now. Like, this isn't funny. Like, if he's
Yeah.
supposed to be a good coach, which he clearly cares about being a good coach, as a character, you feel that, and that's
Mhm.
emphasized in throughout the season. Um, it's no longer me that he doesn't even know what offsides is in soccer. It's like I'm like, maybe
Right.
we should have, like, done a little bit better about that. So
Yeah. Yep.
So it's a good and bad
Okay.
thing about the show.
Okay. Yeah, I always just like, it's not if it's not like a not understanding the
Mhm,
sport. It's always just like, it's sometimes I want that extra element of something I'm interested in to
mhm.
pull me in. It's like Game
Yep.
of Thrones. Like, really, it's, I mean, when Game of Thrones is at its best, it's really about the character drama. It is about
Yes.
those relationships and the political maneuverings of everyone trying to like seek out the throne and usurp one another, or what, that kind of thing. That's what it's about. But it has, if that was in the like field of soccer, wow, you don't have me. You don't have me. It might,
Yeah.
if I sit down and watch it, it might be really good, but I am not interested to
Yep.
start with. Like, I am interested because it's a medieval, fantasy kind of thing, which I'm
Right.
interested in. So, yeah. But
Yeah,
so
I
you're telling
think
me I need to just sit down and ignore that. and I'll like it anyways.
I do think so. I think the writing is very smart. It's very quick and very witty. Um, and it can be both, kind of hit you over the head comedy and also very subtle, like understated, like that was a great line, you know,
Mhm.
or just like some physicality between the actors. Like I just feel it's one of those really great ensemble casts where everybody who interacts on screen works well off of each other. Like there's no weak relationships. There are characters who don't interact and that's fine and they don't need to. I'm glad, some characters aren't like forced to like have a scene together just to try and like make it full circle. Um yeah, no, it's just everybody who interacts with each other on screen does a really great job like playing off one another. And it's sort of like somebody took somebody took like a really great, like comedy skit and thoughtfully and smartly made it into a series
Mm,
filled with, I
nice.
think, characters who are, there can be like stereotypes, there's kind of like the aging athlete and the young ingenue, rising star coming up and stuff like that. There's
Mhm.
stereotypes in there, but they're played really smartly so that you don't just focus on that. And that's not all the
Right.
character is. Like they have very full, complete characters in here.
Cool. Nice. So you're pumped for season 2.
I
Um,
am. I am.
anything else we need to know about season 1? I mean, I believe you that I will like it. Just like, do
Just
I like not watch, some Korean dramas to make
mhm.
space for Ted Lasso?
Well, here's my thought. You know me, I like to balance out my dark and light shows. So if you need
Yeah.
like a little break from the K-drama, these are obviously very quick 30-minute episodes that are while sometimes they do deal with more serious topics, which you can't really shy away from in anything. That's not this show is very like let's show you a slice of life and life isn't always funny. Um
Hmm.
so I think it handles, the few more emotionally deep topics it goes into well. But it mostly obviously stays on the lighter side of things. So, yeah, if you're needing a little bit of a break from the 2-hour mini drama episodes of Crash Landing on You, this is something definitely to watch. I think it pulls you in pretty early on. Um and it's a really fun character study.
Nice. Oh, cool. All right. Um, anything else?
Um yeah, I would just say like there's about this show, like there's a lot of people who kind of talk about like it's a really positive show, which I think is
Hmm.
really nice. It's positive without being like over the top and syrupy or
Right.
like too like happy go lucky. Like, the show obviously knows that like things don't always work out and sometimes things don't work out for our characters. And that again feels very real. But it is nice to like sometimes sit down to a show that sort of like believes in itself, believes in its characters, and like believes in like this more like hopeful message
Right.
without being corny. It's like
Yeah.
smartly hopeful and smartly positive and it's a nice thing to sit down to, I think, for sure.
Cool.
Um and it's a nice adult like positivity. It's funny, it's not too dumbed down. It's not, afraid to be like, we're a bunch of adults and we do adult things, but we don't have to be like gross about it. Yeah.
Hmm. So
I,
if you weren't getting Apple TV Plus for free, we'd be like, "Yep, I'm up and I'm up in that subscription."
yeah, I do have to make that decision here very quickly because my subscription is going to run out next month. So I have to
Okay.
decide because I won't be able to finish all 10 episodes of 10 Lasso if they're going to be, dropping it every week where I thought they were dropping like all of season 2, but they're not. So I think I might. I
Okay.
think I might up my subscription. I mean, Apple TV isn't that much. I think it's like
Right.
5.99 or something like that. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I think Apple TV definitely like hit a jackpot with this show. And
Great.
it's like taking off at a good time.
Yeah. Right when Netflix is like slumping.
Yeah. Honestly.
Right. Yeah, maybe that's yeah.
Yeah, between the Emmy nominations and like the hype and the buzz around season 2, which I have watched the first episode and I did like as much as I liked episodes from the first season. Um, yeah, I think this is a real gem here for Apple TV and a way to draw viewers in and probably honestly will retain a lot of viewers just because they're probably going to be surprised that Apple TV is so cheap.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it's not
Netflix
like
has
Netflix
been
that's like $18 a month or something like that, whatever it
yeah,
is.
it's they've really
Oh,
been
you want it
raising
in
their
4K?
prices. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want multiple device access? Like, here's another
Mhm.
couple bucks a month for you. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Alan was commenting on some of the characters, who swears a lot and who understands the game of soccer.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Coach Beard on the left there for our video viewers. He is an absolute gem in this show.
He shouldn't have a beard. I thought for sure, oh, he's gonna be clean shaven.
Coach
Yeah.
Beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody says his name so seriously that I cannot tell if, like, it's his nickname or if, like, it just happens to be his actual name. Like,
Right.
even
Yeah.
even the owner of the team who, like, doesn't know him calls him Coach Beard, and I'm just like, is this, like, the best coincidence ever, or is this, like, some weird, like, nobody's ever
Yeah.
gonna know his real name, and we're gonna get it in season 2, and it's gonna be like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
maybe.
like Nancy or something, just, like, off
Mhm.
the wall, ridiculously weird.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. But he is a gem. He is so much fun. He's a great foil, to Ted Lasso's kind of, like, upbeatness. Keeps it very stoic, very real, but also during a excellent karaoke scene, breaks out some fun Lady Gaga. So
Nice. All right. Well,
so if that
cool.
doesn't entice you to watch the show, I don't know. I don't know what else I
Yeah.
can do.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, um, I think that's it, everybody. We'll keep it a little bit shorter. I mean, even our short episodes are long. So, you know, we know how to provide sizable content here. So,
Give the viewers
um,
what they want.
yep,
Spicy.
hours and hours. um, yeah, that was episode 69 of Popcast on the Rocks. Are we gonna have to wait till episode 420 to like make the 14, 15-year-olds laugh again with our episode title? I mean, like
Oh, man.
th-
I mean, we're well
that's a
on our
ways.
way, but that's a ways in the future. Man,
Yeah, it's got to be a
maybe
another saucy number in there somewhere, right? Or
yeah, we'll figure one out.
yeah. Yep. Maybe in another language. We're gonna go deep reference here somehow.
There
Another
you go.
language. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank um our friends at Killing the Flower, the band Killing the
Mhm.
Flower for our theme song. You should check them out on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. I should like I don't have Instagram or anything like that, so I should ask them if they're still doing much on Instagram or not. But I do know that they're working on another song pretty soon. So
Oh, excellent.
yeah.
So they will be on
So
then.
they'll be on for sure on Spotify and YouTube and stuff like that. So yeah.
Mhm.
Killing the Flower. Give them a checks a look. I often stream with my brother-in-law, Lucas333. That's Lucas with a K on Twitch. I had been just like with my hand playing like Catan with them online and stuff, but now it's getting better. I'll probably be able to contribute in some other kinds of games as well. Today we played some Catan and then a little bit of the new season of Fall Guys
Nice.
that just came out, I guess. And so yeah, he'd appreciate a follow as well. Otherwise, we normally do our shows on Wednesdays, but sometimes you can see we have them on Fridays as well, or whenever. So make sure that you follow us here on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Check out our website, um, and leave us comments, like, share, subscribe. Do so on your podcast directory. If you prefer to just listen, that's fine too. Just make sure you leave a review, give us 5 stars, all that sort of thing. Um, yeah, that's about it. So otherwise, until next week, thanks for joining me, Andrea.
Of course, as always. Cheers, everybody.